welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the PiGosaur Cup. PiGosaur Cup number 87. Welcome to the semi-finals. We're here, we are live, we are back, and we are jumping into our first series and spawning in the top left-hand corner of at Attorney's Edge. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Terran player, the Blue Terran himself. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. And you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Bearing in mind that this series specifically is a best of 5. Best of 5, not a best of 3. So longer series, more games, more matches. And when it comes to the PTR patch, I would favor ByuN if we can get to the late game. If we can get into that more late game scenario, then I do favor ByuN if we can get there. But the question is if, because again, now coming into the live version of the game, live production and Zerg players in general have been looking much stronger. We'll see how our players compare to each other, as we do have quite a bit of text going on here. Hold on. Where's my Google Translate? I don't have Chronos today. I don't have Chronos this morning. ¿Dónde está mi Chronos? So ByuN was saying here, because Sola went 3-2-1 go, so ByuN was saying you have no manners. If you were part of a team, you'd be kicked. Because usually once you pause, you ask your opponents if they're ready, right? You ask them if they're ready before you unpause. So ByuN, he was poking fun at him. I know. What's the rebuttal? Oh my god. Okay, they're talking about the patch. Jesus. They're talking about Shin, actually. Okay. I think they're I think they're bantering. Sola's saying I would be you even before this patch. He's saying you lost against Shin. I'm gonna beat you 3-0. I don't even need the patch, Pappy. Aye. The banter, Pappy. The banter. Calm down, Pappy. Calm down. And ByuN's saying I can't see myself winning. Like he's so ByuN, he's like lamenting a little bit about the patch, and then Solo's like, yo, I beat you anyway. Like he calm down. Jesus. So he's the villain of the Korean scene. Yeah. For now, I'm going to be opening up Patch Gas Pool, standard opener into our own third base. Nothing crazy here from Solar. Likewise, ByuN going for his own 1-1 follow-up. Nothing crazy, nothing wild yet. From here, we're expecting to see a faster third TC. We'll see if ByuN commits on 2 bases as the banter continues. Oh my god, what do we have left to say, Pappy? I'm really jealous. Zerg absolutely has to pull first. I feel like there's a bit of a translation issue there. Like I'm not entirely certain as to what he's referring to, but okay. Yeah, there we go. For now though, we do have our initial third TC. So again, it is going to be an economic opener here by ByuN. Going for his 1-1 third CC before Starport into what looks to be Banshee play. So far, a standard opener. If you recall, we didn't actually get to see standard play against Yang Yakov last night, and ByuN did lose to Yakov, like infamously so. Last night, ByuN did struggle against Yang Yakov, but here it does go for a much more economic start. As we have our Cloak Banshee on the way. Solar back at home, still just building up. So far, relatively passive early to mid game here between our two players. And so he will confirm the Hellion production. So now he's aware it's not like a 2-on-1 or a 3cc 3-axe or any kind of crazy, more bio-heavy build. As now our players are locking in. Likewise, Solo, he's just cutting corners here. He's going double Evo Chamber first. I'm assuming second Evo Chamber behind this as well. So faster upgrades, later Lair and later Baneley Nest. So Solo choosing to be a little bit greedier here in terms of how he's spending his gas. And this is where we should also mention, welcome to At Attorney's Edge. This is a very interesting map in the map pool. We do see that so far both players are expanding here towards the south side. The goal base is down here as well, bear that in mind. If you recall, I was a little bit more concerned about this. There we go. So ByuN is going for the forward expansion. The rush distance by ground from the triangular third base to triangular third base is quite short. And if you recall, I was theorizing that would lead to some really strong pushes. But I mean, with the current state of things, I don't know if ByuN is going to be too active when it comes to his stim timing and his bio army. We'll see. Likewise, we'll see how Solo expands, as he might just continue to expand away from ByuN. Meanwhile, +1 carapace, only a singular Evo chamber, so not too greedy, not going double chamber. So single chamber, +1 carapace in towards the lair. Solo settling in. Hellions, they move out to apply some pressure. We do have some Cloak Banshees amassing here on the top side. As we have our two Banshees joining up. And the target for ByuN should be this fourth. Should be this fourth expansion when it comes to the eventual move out. So far, we're just preparing. Cleaning up a couple of tumors. Readying the queens. No detection. Remember, it was a later lair. A later lair. No overseers. Oof. Hellie's going to be deflected. Overseer's now morphing in. We do get one queen kill. Do we get two? The Overseer's almost done. Yeah, the Overseer's almost complete. Banshees have to back up. Oh, they get a second queen, but no, they're going to get caught out. They're going to get caught out here. Yeah, lack of stutter stepping. Both Banshees will barely, one of them, both of them gets away. Sorry, none of them gets away. They both get shut down, and with that, ByuN, he will have a shaky start here. On the one hand, yes, he killed two queens, but he lost both Banshees. Now he has less to threaten, he has less to defend, less to really move out and harass. Hopefully everything's okay. I do know that there have been some server issues, and some weird lag spikes here and there. I don't know if that's the case for Solar, but the second pause of the match. So hopefully everything's okay. So behind this, ByuN, he does lose both Banshees. Now he has less to threaten the bases, and Solar's being quite greedy. Behind this, we saw one Evo chamber, true, single Evo chamber in towards tech, in towards a very fast infestation pit. This tells us that most likely Solar's going to be skipping Hydras and skipping the Spire, and looking to go Ling, Bane, Infestor, Hive, Ultra. So very greedy play here by Solus. He's cutting a lot of corners. We'll see if he even makes Infestors. He might skip that and just go straight Hive. But very greedy play. And once again, it's going to be on ByuN to punish. ByuN is taking his gases, second factory into a 4th CC. ByuN is building up into towards a macro game. There it is, 4th CC is now in production. But the pressure is very much so on ByuN. I would say that typically this style that Solo is going for is very greedy and difficult to get away with. I would say that in the current iteration of the game, it is my assumption that it's going to be easier. It's going to be much easier just because you have extra larva, which means a composition like Ling Bane, which is very larva intensive, is going to be stronger than normal because you have so much more larva to work with. Keeping up with your injections, keeping up with the macro typically is a little more difficult when stuck with Ling Bane, and you can be punished quite hard. There's that Hive that we're rushing into. We're still getting a safety Hydroden though, so we might still make a handful of Hydras. Curious. The Hydroden is throwing me off a little bit. Oof. Yeah, Zion gets knocked down. Tank does fall as well. Brutal cleanup here in favor of Solar, as he's going to get both tanks. Oof. Yeah, both tanks go down. ByuN is being deflected. Solar, he's establishing his 5th expansion. And is making safety Hydras. Now, with this faster Hive, I'm assuming it's going to be for Viper tech. I no longer believe that it's going to be up to Ultras. Otherwise, we wouldn't be spending so much gas on Hydras and Hydra upgrades as well. We'd be preserving that gas for the Ultra tech and for Cadis plating. So we'll have access to those faster those faster Vipers, faster Hive tech. ByuN, he still needs to be active. We have an army in the center. Rotating on the top side. So, does rotate. Oh, Bailing's a to finish up. There's our first Viper on the way. Oof. And we get some okay mine shots. They're decent. Not bad. Decent mine shots. They do connect. ByuN pulls away. Again, just the one Viper into Lurker Tech. And Solo, he's almost reaching his final form, right? He's almost maxing out with the Hive Tech army. Oh. ByuN's drop is spotted. Messier trade here for Solar. Yeah, bleeding out a lot of Zerglings. Did misjudge. Did misjudge the army. ByuN pushing on the south side. Going for a split push. So far, Solar's keeping up. Show some eye shot. Oh! Ooh, no major connection. Yeah, no major connection. And ByuN, he still has not threatened any of these bases. He hasn't gotten close. The expansions are left alone. ByuN still trying to amass. Trying to. And both armies are maxed out. Bearing in mind that ByuN, he is stuck with a biotech army. What I mean by that is that there's still no ghosts, right? Where there's still no ghost production or liberators either. Still very heavily reliant on marines and a handful of marauders. So he does have to be careful. Ooh, Vipers that catch at the medevacs. Oh no! Ooh, full medevac goes down. The second one barely does survive. But is likewise going to be cleaned up as well. So solid defense there by Solar. Yeah, the second drop does fall as well. Solar defends. And the lurkers are about to come online. Here they're coming online. ByuN trying to establish another southern base. Getting his planetary. Getting his fifth. And Solar finally breaks out. Oh. This one's planetary. I believe we're still waiting for the Viper. It's still only one Viper, which is a little bit surprising here. So very limited when it comes to blinding clouds and how to engage. Viper has arrived. And we chase the army back. Yeah, we chase the army back. Planetary is going to go down. ByuN cannot make a stand. Not here. Nice blinding cloud on the ramp. And Solar pulls away. Yeah, pulls away. Takes down the mineral line. Takes down the expansion. 14 SCV kills. Ay, ay, ay. Takes down 14 SCVs. Solar, he backs off. Pulls away. Remax. Rebuilds. And up next should be this triangular third. We'll see what Solar does target. Just trying to rotate over. More upgrades are finishing. I believe the Viper did survive. Yes, Viper did survive, regathering energy. And then we can go for another dive. Meanwhile, we can see that ByuN is trying to turtle up. He's throwing down Center Towers, Widow Mines, SimCity. Trying to turtle up here. Ghost Academy is now on the way. Solar rotates over. Does lunge in. Not enough bio. Yeah, there's not enough bio here. The tanks are exposed. We get some decent line connections and does take down one, barely two tanks. And again, mainly trading Ling Bane. Just trading out the Ling Bane. Solar does preserve those Hydras. Lurkers now morphing in. Now, I will say that wasn't the best trade for Solar, but again, he mainly traded for tanks. Like, he lost what? He was able to catch, what, 1, 2, 3 tanks for just Ling Bane. Ensuring that this base is not taken, and every time that ByuN attempts to expand here, he should lose it. Like, this area is just so open. So open, so exposed. Base is denied. Oof. Does go for blinding clouds. I mean, we have a decent siege line here behind this. But the planetary. Planetary is going to get surrounded. It does go down. The planetary falls. Massive pickup. At the same time, lurkers, they deny mining here at the third. And again, ByuN, he cannot defend. He cannot keep up. Not like this. He needs more time for ghosts. For ghosts, for liberators. Oof. And Solar, he's not tunnel visioning too much. Spire is on the way, so in case ByuN ever does build up a ghost count and build up a liberator count as well, then the idea of going into Broodlord Infestor is still going to be there. Or we're working towards that. Just in case. I'll say that Solar's still fine sticking with Lingbane Hydra. Usually you only need to transition out of this once the Terran players start successfully defending. Once they successfully defend, then you have to get the hell out of this. But for now, ByuN, he's not successful in doing so, right? Like ByuN, he cannot maintain these expansions. When that momentum starts to shift, then you have to get ready for something greater. As things, they force some friendly fire. Nothing major. At the same time, Solar commits into the third. Gets 1, 2 tanks. Bailey's a mainly zone away. A bit of a messy fight here from Solar. And he does not deny the expand. So this is now where I start to get a little bit concerned. I mean, ByuN is still down and still... he's still fine. Yes, also fine. He's still traded. And he still gets a mineral line. There we go. Now it's still worth it. 12 SCV kills. Catching out one of the ghosts. 14 SCVs going down. 18 SCV kills. The base does survive. But again, this is what Solar needs to do to be able to maintain this kind of army composition. To stick with a layer tech army of Lingbane Hydra. 9 mining. Knock down a mineral line. Oh no! Miss Rally! Oof. Expensive Miss Rally there out of Solar. The Lings, they still collapse on the tanks. Gets 1. Can we get 2? No. Yeah, it doesn't kill the expansion either. Again, if the Viper was here, that would have helped so much to blinding cloud the tanks. So Solar does slip up. And ByuN, he does establish the northern base. This base should never have gotten up, by the way. This base is so vulnerable, so exposed. And we got a full line of mules here just going ham. They expire. They paid for themselves. More, I mean, of course, they pay for the CC, I should say. More than that. Solar collapsing in. ByuN getting pulled apart, losing another mineral line. Yeah, some heavy losses there out of ByuN. Lurkers, they still find more damage. But this is getting a little bit messy here. It's getting a little bit messy. At least Solar still has the gold expansion. I spoke too soon. ByuN's here to deny. What's important about these trades that have been occurring here is that Solar's been trading out army for workers. ByuN's, his own army, when it comes to his liberators and ghosts, has been slowly building up. Has been getting higher and higher. You can see here we have a line of, what, 8 tanks? Jesus. I said 8. It's 9 tanks. So we have 9 tanks securing this position. We have more tanks coming in. Liberators on the top side. We spoke earlier that the moment that the Terran player starts to establish these bases, like, that's when we got to be concerned and start thinking about something else. And there it is. Just now getting the Greater Spire. If you remember, I was praising Solar earlier for getting the Spire, but he didn't make any upgrades. He got +1 flyer attack, but this Spire has been neglected. But like, this tells us that Solar, he's also in the same line of thinking. He's like, oh, I have to get ready for Broodlords. Like, Solar, he's now failing to deny these expansions. So Solar has to take this seriously. Nice mine shot. Again, the tank line here pops up. Oh my god. Mineral line is going to go down. Meanwhile, Solar does bring down 1, 2, 3 tanks. Snipes, they don't quite connect. Solar does lunge away. Breaks the snipes. breaks a lock on. 21 SCV kills. Once again, ByuN does retain the majority of his army. And we'll clear up a lot of creep. It does clear up at the same time. Big shout out to Sian in the chat. Papi God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Obrigado, papi. Obrigado. Fala galera. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had an amazing time over on your channel. For those who are unaware, Sian, he is a Brazilian caster. Does cast over in Brazilian, in Portuguese. So much love. Obrigado. Brasileiros back. True. So once again commits in, takes down the mineral line. The bit you don't want to be a worker for ByuN here. So many workers go down. 17 SCV kills. ByuN is muling as best he can. Medevac does fall. And ByuN, he wants the gold. No shot ByuN maintains that gold base. On the one hand, yes, ByuN has been securing these expansions, but, I mean, ByuN, he is struggling when it comes to building up and keeping up his supply. Solar, he's still trading relatively well. Solar tries to rotate. How many Vipers? Still just one. I'm still a little bit concerned about the lower Viper count. Oh. Does catch one of the ghost tanks are exposed. Gets two. Yeah, 2 tanks going to be going down. Not a bad trade for Solar. Catching out 2 tanks, catching out 1 ghost. As on one hand, ByuN is technically gaining ground here, but Solar has uncontested bases, which are allowing Solar to have these trades. Like, he can still afford these trades. Viper moves in. We try to come in from behind. Flanking army should be dealt with. That's still going to be 1, 2 tanks falling, and a couple of ghosts. Oh my god. Yeah, Bane's smash in. 4 tanks go down. Heavy losses for ByuN. We'll lose extra ghosts. Oh, and the CC as well. ByuN cannot afford this. He's losing too much. Ideally, in this kind of position, as you fortify your bases and start to push out, you want to be able to maintain a maxed out army, but ByuN is bleeding out too much. I say too much, he's not even losing that much each trade, each fight, but because of he's also so many SCVs, so many workers, because his economy is so limited, he's on a 1-base economy, he can't afford these trades. Second 1 base, fungal lands, no follow-up, but it's still okay. I mean, again, it's impressive that ByuN has hung in there and he's working towards more expansions, but as we try to emphasize, bam, there's no mining. There's no mining at the 3rd, no mining at the 4th base, no mining at the natural, no mining at the main. It is half a base mining here. 9 SCVs, 9 workers mining. ByuN is broke. He's all broke back. This mine just going off. We get a bit of a messy trade here from Solar. Getting messy. If ByuN had maintained this northern base, different story. Or if he was able to retain his workers a little bit more and push towards his goal base a little bit faster as well. But again, it was just some brutal trades here from from ByuN. And here come the Brood Lords. They're coming. Solar, he got there. The Brood Lord Infestor is now on the way. I was being a little bit critical of Solar for not really taking this direction fast enough or in time with the second Spire, but I mean, it's fine. Like, Solar, he pulled it off anyway. Like, he was still able to trade, still able to punish ByuN, and still able to hinder him. Keep the economy low, keep the army low. Here come the snipes. These Broodlords are exposed. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I'll say 3 Broodlords just go down. 3 Broodlords get caught. But that's all the snipes we had back here. Those are all the snipes. Broodlords are moving in. 10 SCV kills as Lings are wreaking havoc in the bases. They're wreaking havoc. And GG. GG gets called. Solar, he will take a lead in the series 1-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Solar, he will claim a lead here. And again, this... I want to say does kind of emphasize what the patch is at the moment. I don't know if you noticed, but there wasn't anything too egregious here. But the reality is, Solar's bases were never under threat. ByuN, he never got close to any of the mineral lines, any of the expansions. Typically in ZvT, when it comes to the dynamic in the previous patch, we expect to see Terran players able to threaten and try to fight for the 4th base of the Zerg. Right, like that's usually what the initial 7-minute bio-tank push is able to achieve. But in this game, the bio-tank push moves out, and Solar was able to shut it down ahead of time in the center of the map. There was already a bunch of creep spread, and likewise already plenty of Ling Bane to deal with that. The moment that ByuN lost that 7-minute push, I say 7-minute, I think it's later just because of the timings. But the moment that he lost his first tank push, if you remember, he lost 2 tanks in the center of the map. That's when ByuN lost all momentum, that's when he lost all map control, and that's when ByuN was stuck at home. He was then stuck at home, and he could never touch the economy of Solar. There was some attempted drop play, but Solar shut it down, right? Remember, he had the Viper, he had the power bombs, he shut down all the drops, he barely lost any workers this game, maybe like 1 or 2 drones, if that, and GG. GG well played. With that, Solar was looking very comfortable, very comfortable on Attorney's Edge, and we'll see how things adjust coming into game 2. We're going to be loading into Rainfall. Now, for those that are unaware, Rainfall is the new Tourmaline, essentially. I would say even more extreme than Tourmaline, but what was Tourmaline? Tourmaline was the aggressive map of the previous map pool. Rainfall is the new aggressive map. We'll get into it. Actually, I say that Rorschach might be more aggressive. True, I'd have to whip out a ruler and measure, because Rorschach is also in the map pool. So I can't quite forget that. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Rainfall, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg leading the series 1-0. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player, the blue Terran player himself. We have the South Korean Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. Just catching up with the chat. See, Savage on, has there been any Protoss players in this tournament? Not in this tournament, but we featured a hero last night. So if you wanted to tune into some PvZ action, some high-level PvZ action, then we did feature hero in last night's Sparkling Tuna Cup. So I do recommend checking that out. Otherwise, in this tournament, so you have half of Protoss in Clem. Because remember, Clem does play Protoss against Terran, and I believe Clem is slated to play against Percival in the upper semifinals. And likewise, Clem is unironically like what, 3rd best Protoss in Europe, if not 2nd best. Like it depends on the day. So you have your Protoss and Clem. So now we're calming things down, we're settling in, and welcome all to Rainfall. Rainfall, again, is a very small map of the map pool, very short rush distance by ground, very direct as well. What is the one thing that can slow down a push here? Well, you have the narrow bridges. Because they're so narrow, it means that an army coming across the map can be engaged ahead of time with a greater concave. You can force field, you can take the better fight, but only here in the center. Outside of that, there's no points of elevation, there's no choke points either, very open areas here, moving in towards the natural expansion. Likewise, we have this high ground elevated position here. This is what is different compared to Tourmaline. On Tourmaline, I believe the 3rd and the natural are on the same plane of elevation. Here, it's on the low ground. Both 3rd base options are on the low ground. What does that mean? That means if you go for a big 2 or 3 base all in, and if you take over this central area, that means you don't just wedge yourself in between the bases, but it also means that if there is any army supply here on the low ground at either 3rd location, then they're going to be at a deficit, pushing into the aggressing army up the ramp. So players can be caught out of position. It's going to be more difficult to defend your 3rd base against said all-ins, which is kind of what we're expecting here out of our players. We'll see how aggressive we plan on being. Eyes are mainly going to be on ByuN coming into this. When it comes to aggression, when it comes to early game, like Terran players, that's where they can be at their strongest. We do typically favor Terran players on smaller map and Zerg players on larger maps. That's traditionally the case, but again, we'll see what kind of builds we go for. We'll see how players approach. Because this map favors aggression so much, we often do expect Zerg players to go Roaches. Roaches are a really good way to be defensive, but they also allow for some aggressive timings as they can go for their own all-ins with Roach Ravager, right? It kind of unlocks that kind of ability to defend, to deflect any kind of major aggression, and then to counterattack and to have your own like robust force. So I would say Roaches are expected, but we'll see if Solar commits to Ling Bane. the other factor here, of course, ever since the last patch, not this one, but the previous one, with the Baneling buff, it does make Ling Bane more viable as a defensive option. True. So Ling Bane has been more viable. Behind this, a third CC before Starport, economic build out of ByuN. Oh, okay, interesting. So ByuN is not going for any kind of aggressive move out, he's going for an economic build instead. So this means that Solar, he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine building up back at home, building up his bases, securing his economy. The idea of needing to be a little bit safer and more defensive is not going to be impactful here, it's not going to really matter, it's not going to apply. Oh. Actually, ByuN is going for a very fast stim. It's still an economic build, but again, it's going to be a 3cc 211. Did I say 211? 3cc 311. Okay. This is a build that we saw in the PTR. This is a much more aggressive variation of, obviously, 3cc 211. With this very fast stim, very fast bioproduction as well. You do start with a couple of Hellions. It's only 4 as opposed to 6 to 8 that you see typically in a standard game. Oh, he dives. Yeah, ByuN does go for the dive. He will get 1, he'll get 2 drones. With just 1. Yeah, there are no links out, and just 1 drone goes down so far. Very nice events here by Solar. He deflects. Solar, he defends well. But winding it back here, as we mentioned, the trade-off is you have a very low Hellion count, so you have less to threaten across the map. And it leads into a strong bio timing, and ooh, do we scout across the map? Solar, he does get eyes on the building maxes. Okay, so Solar scouts, Solar knows. He now knows that this is going to be a later timing because the starport is delayed. So delayed starport, delayed medevacs, but again, a strong, robust bio army. This means that Solar, he should be aware that he is free to drone up until a certain point. Then he has to fixate on Ling Bane. Or just Ling Queen. Usually 3cc 2-on-1s hit around 630, but in the new live version, that's only applicable to the previous patch. In the new live version of the game, I'm curious how these timings kind of come together. As we're reaching that 6-minute mark, and I believe there are no medevacs in sight. Yeah, there's no. Oh, that means there's no tech lab on the starport. And ByuN is actually going for double eBay, double upgrades. This tells us that ByuN is not going to try to hit a crisp timing. ByuN has stim, but he's staying home. Or did I speak too soon? Is ByuN going for a ByuN move out? Okay. So this is very risky. ByuN is pushing with stim, but no medevacs. Which means if he gets surrounded, he will lose everything. He will lose everything here. There is 1 medevac being rallied across the map as we speak. But if ByuN gets caught out prematurely, like again, this is just a big risk. A big risk, a big gamble. But so far, unscouted. Medevac is on the way. And we'll see what ByuN can get done. Oh. Solar, he will spot the move out. Does spot this. ByuN, he will push. This does hit at 650. Okay. Gonna try to remember that internally. So just under 7 minutes. Queen's ready to respond. And the Queen should be able to hold their own here. The Hellions do complicate things. And again, there's no Banelings ready for this. Not yet. We have 7 Banelings on the way. And Solar holds. Yeah, Solar, he does deflect. Maintains his position. Opens up the creep tomb. Also opens up the wall here. Does shut down the tumors. And this push that was supposed to threaten and potentially even force a cancel kill the 4th base fails to do so. ByuN is going to be forced back. Now, what I will say is that yes, ByuN doesn't get the damage he was hoping for, which is rough, but remember, this was a 3cc build, so it's okay. Like, ByuN, he preserves the army, this was more of an economic build more than anything, and he retains his composition. Morphing in Hellbats, Marine drop on the left-hand side. ByuN fighting for map control. And he can threaten the expansion at the same time, drop into the main. Oh. Catching up part of the army. Baneling speed is just now finishing. 3 more seconds. Baneling speed is done. There's 2 Widowmines. Widowmines are borrowed. Ooh. And we get some decent Baneling. Oh, sorry, Widowmine shots. Not bad. Yeah, Widowmines are shut down the Ling Bane. And the Marines, they do maintain themselves against some very nice connections with those Widowmines. ByuN traded well, but not enough to kill. Not enough to kill the expansion. Solar still holds anyway, and Solar's looking quite comfortable. Oh god, I see. What's great, again, that was not a bad fight for ByuN, but Solar, he's now on getting up to 6 expansions, sorry, getting up to 5 hatcheries here. He's on 81 drones, and that supply gap is about to get larger. Oof. Yeah, ByuN is just being outscaled. He's just being outscaled. He cannot keep up, not like this. ByuN, he's desperately going for drop play. Alas, Solar's getting in position. And we're finding ourselves in a very similar position that we had in the last game as well, where these move outs, these timings, whether it's the 650 move outs towards the 4th base or the main push that we just saw towards the 5th expansion as well, they're supposed to be trading, they're supposed to be getting some economic damage, potentially even breaking the expansions to have a back and forth. The fact that that hasn't been happening, it means that Solar's about to max. It means that Solar, he's snowballing out of control, he's about to max out, and Solar, he's just kind of cruising his way into the mid to late game. Yep, GG gets called, and Solar takes a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. There was no final engagement, but the reality is that ByuN did no damage. He did no damage with his timings. He was shut down, he was deflected, and Solar, he was miles ahead. Miles ahead. GG, well played. And yeah, it's the aggressive move outs here that ByuN has been going for. And again, they haven't been too committed, have been struggling. To me, I'm a little bit surprised that ByuN went 3cc this game. I feel like we had to just be more aggressive. We had to just double down. The idea of so in the previous meta, in the previous patch, and maybe even this patch as well, in TvP, the meta was built in such a way, the meta had kind of culminated in such a way where Terran players had to all in against Protoss for the most part, right? Because Protoss was so favored in a longer game. So we saw a lot of short TvPs, a lot of all-ins out of Terran. As things currently are, I feel like that's the direction we might go in with TvZ as well. One of the two extremes, either be hyper defensive and hyper turtly and just forego like just being active on the map, or be even more aggressive and just go for 2 base all-ins, right? Ignore the 3rd CC and then try to double down, which we saw last night between ByuN and Young Yakov as well. Like we saw that, and it did fail. But that's kind of where my mind is going at the moment. If we're unable to stop the growth of Zerg, and if Terran is unable to pressure the 4th and 5th expansions, that's kind of like the vibe that we're getting at. But regardless, let's go. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of the Old Sun Temple, we have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, leading the series 2-0. It is Solar. Oh, and spawning in the top left hand corner, cross spawns, long spawn locations here, long distance. We have the South Korean Terran, we have the blue Terran representing Shopify. It is ByuN. Oof. Okay, so getting into this map here, welcome to the Old Sun Temple. This is a 4-player spawn map. You can spawn in top right, bottom left, top left, right? 4 possible spawn locations. Because we have cross spawns, diagonal spawn locations, this means that we have the longest rush distance possible between both bases and between both armies, which means that if ByuN wants to be more aggressive this time, it's going to be weaker. His aggression is going to be much weaker than normal, which means that ByuN has to adjust his approach if the plan was to try to go for something more aggressive. CC first. Okay, CC first. I'm curious to see his 3rd CC timing. I do like the in my mind, I feel like we have to do one of the two extremes, either be hyper aggressive and go for an all-in, or be hyper greedy and try to out-greed and outscale the Zerg player. I'm curious if we go for a 3rd CC before Starport, or even a 3rd CC before Factory, and go for a 3 CC 3 Racks, which we have been seeing more from Terran players in TvZ in the PTR. So curious as to the build of choice. Of course, for the time being, our players don't know where each other are. Solar did go pool first. If you can see here, the hatchery is late, as this was a pool first build out of Solar. This is because Solar most likely was expecting a proxy. Again, 4-player spawn map, large map, a lot of proxy locations, so a hyper safe play out of Solar. This does mean that technically when it comes to the early game builds, ByuN has a lead. ByuN went CC first, Solar went pool first. So ByuN has a stronger start. Solar, he's scouting nearby with his Lings. First Overlord will get eyes on ByuN. but the Pulver's timing here doesn't really allow the Lings to get any damage done. The CC's already complete. CC's complete. Reaper's on the way. Solar can wait for the Reaper to move out and then try to backstab and try to get maybe an SCV kill. But he just goes straight in. Does go straight in. And will delay mining from YSCV. Delays mining, gets a full scout. Solar, he does confirm the CC first, and he also confirms the factory follow-up as well. So some nice information here from Solar. Lings, they achieve some value. Oh my god. As Solar, he stays in gas. That is not normal. That is not normal here. So Link speed is on the way. He does stay in gas before getting up to 2 base saturation. And with that, Solar can do a couple of different things. This could lead into a Link Queen Nidasaur in. This can lead into, I mean, again, 2 base lair, fast lair. It could lead into roaches. It can lead into a Bane bust, technically. Bane busts are very rare. But we're expecting either a very fast lair into 2 base Muta or like roach aggression. But because of the map spawn locations, 2 base Muta would make the most sense. Yep, there it is. So that is a sub 4-minute lair timing. So that's a 3:55 lair timing here out of Solar. Gas is being taken, and this screams 2 base Muta. I will say that players have been playing, and Solar has been playing around with 2 base Hydra, but that was on the previous patch, right? That was pre-PTR on the previous patch, and that was for more aggressive timing, which I feel like would be weaker here. Meanwhile, ByuN is scouting for a third. ByuN, he does confirm there is no third base, which is very abnormal, so he should piece this together that it is 2 base lair. Now, in ByuN's mind, this could still be like a 2 base roach all-in or a 2 base Link Queen Nidus all-in, technically, but I'm sure if we can deduce, if it's 2 base lair, if we can deduce that there's a high chance it's going to be Spire, ByuN can as well. ByuN does open Viking into his own bio setup. Stim is on the way. Earlier Stim, no Banshees, which I feel like is a good thing against 2 base Muta. There's the Spire. And ByuN hasn't seen the lair, he hasn't seen the Spire, but again, like based on what he's seen so far, based on the third base timing, he can piece it together, and this can be an assumption that he can make. I guess technically the other option here is that there could be a ninja base. Like this map is large enough where that could factor in at some point, like in the meta on the old Sun Temple. That is true. It isn't the case here, but I can see that happening in the future. We just see a couple of ninja bases in the PTR at this level of play. Now Spire's finishing up. Soul's running up his third. And ByuN has not confirmed yet. Dips into the natural, sees the lair, does see some gases, but no turrets yet. So ByuN has not confirmed Muta, and he's not preparing for it either. Does have a decent chunk of Marines, so it might be okay. There we go. Turrets now being thrown down. Again, like ByuN didn't see the Spire, but he can deduce. Right? He can make an educated guess as to what's happening. With the gases, with the late third. So nicely timed turrets. Now this does mean that the initial wave of mutas should not get much damage done, but at the same time they are still doing damage in the sense that they should be containing ByuN. And because of the longer rush distance by ground, Solo should be feeling safer to do so. To contain and to have minimal units to defend back at home. The larger the map, the more distance you have between yourself and your opponent's bases, the more viable Muta play is. The scariest thing when you go into Mutas like this is that because Mutas take up so much gas, your Ling Bane army is weaker. Your upgrades are later as well. Like everything, your ground army does suffer as a result of that. But if these pushes are delayed because of the map itself, then your ground army, I mean, you can get away with having it be weaker. ByuN is pushing there. He is moving out. Mutas are going for the backstab. ByuN commits. And what do we have to defend? We have soon to be 9 Banelings. 9 slow Banelings as well. Speed is just now finishing up. Mutas to turn around. Speed is done. No carapace though. So you can see Solo trying to bait out the mine shot. Solo turns around. And ByuN for now just setting up. Denying creep. Denies creep. Setting up at the center. Use a rotate back around. There is a bit of an opening here, but wouldn't mind a bar behind the gas guys. Okay. Oh. Snipes an SCV, pulls away. Does pull away. Likewise, Solo, he's almost done droning, getting up to 74 workers, soon to be 80. And the reality is that ByuN cannot threaten. ByuN does not have enough to push onto creep. So like he's reached like peak economy. He's reached peak economy. 80 workers. Now he can max out. So the soup is lying to you at the moment. Right now the supply is deceptively close, but that will soon change once Solo's 4th base kicks in with the economy. And the pressure is very much on ByuN. He's being active. He needs to be. Show up on the south side. Push in the center. Mute as they get across the map. And they will get some damage done. Oh, just getting an SCV, getting a Marine. Oh. Base is denied. Was that a kill? Ah, it was a cancel. It was a cancel. ByuN stepping onto creep. Solo's out of position. Okay. Yeah, Solo's out of position. Wouldn't mind say burrow. Show us the mine shots. Oh, they get dragged. Wouldn't mind they get dragged. No major connections. And Solo, he does defend. At the same time, drop here is not getting much done. Will delay the expansion. Delays even further. As drop is cleaned up. ByuN, he has to keep pushing. He's reinforcing this time with Thors. ByuN, he needs to keep the pressure up. And the creep has been lacking, I will say that. There's a couple of active tumors, but we have not spread them in quite some time. Oh, now being spread. Likewise, Solo taking up into Hive. Viper's going to be on the horizon, Adrenal as well. Guns moving in, both armies are maxed. And the mutas, they cannot engage head on. Again, mutas, they're built to harass, they're not built to really fight. So he commits. Yeah, he commits across the map. There are 4 turrets back at home. This hatchery is killed, not cancelled. Oh god, we just fight the turrets head on. Does get 1, 2, 3, gets all 4 turrets, just barely. Yeah, fights the Marines, and mutas overwhelm. They will overwhelm. Shuts down mining at the 4th. Oof. ByuN not paying attention. Does take some banelings to the face. So as he bleeds out mutas, he's replacing this with Morling Bane. Morling Bane. But Solo can't expand. Again, Solo, he did not mine through these mineral patches here, so expanding towards the top side is going to be much more difficult. Yeah, Solo, he's stuck on 4 bases. Solo needs a 5th. We gotta open up that wall. We gotta on both sides. Oh, but no Wooden Mines. Yeah, Wooden Mines are further back. Door is abandoned. Nice cleanup here by Solar. Yeah, we'll clean this up well. Solar now expanding on the top side. Now starting to mine through. Again, Solar did not. This is unique to this map, but Solar, he did not set up for the expand. It looks like he didn't realize he had to open up. So this is making this much closer than it otherwise should be, because Solar's 5th base is so late. So delayed. Shops are cleaned up. Meanwhile, ByuN is pushing. Looking for a way in. Scans, this time sees Link Bane. This time Solar has finally opened up the door. Open up the mineral wall. Ooh, cashing out some reinforcements. Gets a free Thor. Yeah, Thor gets picked up. Oh, Bailey's they connect. ByuN was distracted. Nice wine shots. And what reminds they connect well. But still some messy play here by ByuN. Ultra production has begun. Solar's collapsing in. And pushing forward. No, and he cleans up. He cleans up the Marines. Only a handful do survive. What, 4? 2 Marines survive that initial engage. Jump across the map. Does nice some mining, but there's some heavy losses for ByuN. You can see ByuN plummet in supply. Is trying to expand. He's trying. Oof. But Sola's done it. At this point, the big hurdle that Sola had this game was not expanding, right? The 5th base was so late for Sola, but finally, he double expands. Gets a 5th and a 6th expansion. Now he can saturate, now he can transfer all the workers. Sola can now sustain himself well and build up a bank, and max out with Ling, Bane, Ultra, Muta. Again, I feel like the biggest thing that was hindering Sola this game was his unfamiliarity with the map and the need to like set up for a 5th base, which again is much more unique to Old Sun Temple. Sola now collapses in, cleans up all the Widow Mines, zones away the army. Once again, some rough trades here for ByuN. Oof. Bailey's they connect in. Muta's out deflected. They don't actually get the mineral line here. Turrets do finish. I feel like that was a bit of a missed opportunity here for Solar, but once again, he can rebuild, he can max out. The upgrades are still a little bit lacking here for Solar. He does have kindness plating, but we're still missing 3-3. But it's just about to finish. Carapace is finishing up. That will benefit the Ultras. The everything. And now we're getting a 7th base. Oof. 7th expansion. I will say that the creep is still very much so lacking this game. And that has allowed ByuN to have more of a presence here. But it is still looking rough. Solo moving in. Oof. Trading with the army. So they will catch reinforcements. Beacon Marines. Medevacs. Widow Mines. Oh, good. Nice target firing. Gets both. We just came with the production. Ultras 8 do engage ahead of time. A messy engage here from Solar. Oh, very nice mine shots. And Widow Mines they pop off. So again, Solar was not paying attention here. Was fixated on his mutas. And it's a very Marauder heavy composition. Very Marauder heavy. Which is a nice kind of band-aid solution against the Mass Ultra. Again, ByuN still has not been able to build up into Ghosts. So heavily reliant here on Ultras. Sorry, on Marauders, on Thors. Nice wide shots. Solar getting a little bit getting a little bit cavalier with those mutas. A little bit cavalier. A little bit careless. So let's pull everything together. He's very Lingbane centric when it comes to his army. He's only got a handful of Ultras. ByuN is pushing on the top side and towards the south as well. Again, Solar failed to deny this expansion, so ByuN does have an economy. Ooh, yeah, Solar, he will barely save the expand. Saves the hatchery, but he will lose an northern base. And you can see Solar evacuates. Does trade as best he can. Takes down the Thor, takes down some of the ByuN army. And sets up with a counterattack. Going for the planetary. Again, these bases have been left alone for too long. Again, as I mentioned before, I was surprised that this northern base got up and running. Solar did miss out. Hatchery goes down. And now there are 3 CCs up here. Like, it's not going to be easy to break. It's not easy, Pappy. But still trading the army, and he just collapses in. Yeah, we're just going for the dive. This time there are much fewer Marauders. Barely any. We got 4 Marauders left. No, we're chasing them down. Let's say 4, 6. 6 Marauders remaining. That's terrifying with the planetary. Bailey's they bust into the mineral line. Oof. 26 SCV kills. Muses they bust into the 3rd. And with that, ByuN has been broken. He has been broken here. Solo snowballs out of control. As I mentioned previously, I stand by it, that what was really slowing down Solo this game was his lack of 5th base and his lack of familiarity with the map. Once he got his 5th base up and running and his 6th base, then it was a lot smoother. GG gets called. GG gets called, and Solar, he'll take the 3-0 over ByuN. GG. And GG, well played. Solar, he will claim the series, and ByuN, he will bow out of the tournament. Again, just a really unfortunate, I would say, spawn location for ByuN. So winding all the way back here when it comes to the Old Sun Temple, it's a 4-player spawn map, and the moment that we had cross spawns, I was like, oh, that's rough. Again, typically these larger maps do favor Zerg players, and because we had cross spawns, it allowed Solar to go 2-base muta. 2-base muta is much more viable here. The reasoning for this is because the map is so large and the rush distance is so long, it means punishing muta play is much more difficult, right? The map is helping Solar in this respect because of the RNG and the spawn locations. It does make muta play easier to get away with, and much more viable as well, easier to rotate between the bases, harder to defend against because there's more distance between the expansions as well, and the Solar was able to gain map control, able to dominate. I say that Solar did have a hard time getting a 5th base, and that was the period of time where ByuN was keeping up. ByuN, he was able to keep up and deny the 5th base over and over again. But as we tried to emphasize previously, a lot of that looked like because of Solar's unfamiliarity with the map itself, he did not pre-mine out the walls or knock down the rocks to be able to gain access to the 5th. That was slowing Solar down quite heavily, and it made it difficult for Solar to defend because he had a choke point that he had to move through to try to rotate his army. But once he opened that up, he just ran away with it. GG. GG, well played with that. With that, congratulations here to Solar for claiming the series, for advancing on into the grand finals. As I just went to the wrong server, so as the upper semifinals is a little bit telling here. Oof, that's crazy. Let's head on over here.